Good afternoon, everybody, from the Williamsport Sun-Gazette. I'm Mitch Rupert, standing alongside the Dr. Chris Masse. Doc, we've just finished up a pretty good district baseball season right now, and still less than 24 hours removed from a great day of baseball over at Bowman Field. Tomorrow, Monday afternoon, we get started with the PIAA playoffs. We're going to give you a little preview here, what we expect from PIAAs and what we saw a little bit in the District 4 playoffs. I think being less than 24 hours removed from yesterday, the one thing still on my mind is Garrett Shnyder from Montgomery. You posted it on Twitter in the middle of the game. He may not be the area's best player, but is there anybody in District 4 who's more valuable to their team than Garrett Shnyder is?
I don't think so. Like you said in your story, it's not a one-man team, but there's no way they'd be playing. They'd be district champions, let alone playing for a district title without him. He's a great big game pitcher. He's always been good since his freshman year on the baseball field here at South. He threw 5 no-hit innings in his first start. He's just gotten better and better, and he's put everything together this year. And he's been just about untouchable since his first game against South Williamsport, 7 straight wins. And you could tell early on last night, Canton pretty much had no chance against him, and he's carried that team at times, and I don't think there's anybody more valuable than him. I think there's players that might be more talented all around from a hitting perspective and adding to pitching and defense, but I don't think anybody's more valuable this year.
There's some nice pieces on that Montgomery team, and they will play tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 at Bloomsburg University against Pius X, if I'm not mistaken. Alex Worthington is going to be on the hill for the Red Raiders. Alex is another one of those solid players in that lineup for Montgomery, but like you said, there may not be anybody more valuable than what Garrett Shnyder brings. He's your consummate number 3 hole hitter, has a little bit of power, has a little bit of just line drive capability in his bat, and he's that number 1 pitcher that Montgomery absolutely has to have. He strikes out the side in the first inning last night. Then you could see a little bit of desperation in Canton. I thought in the 3rd inning they get a runner on 3rd with 1 out. They try a suicide squeeze, turns into a popped up bunt double play. All the air just went out of Canton then, because I think you could see what kind of game Garrett Shnyder was going to have. Is he capable of doing that to anybody they come across if he gets on the mound?
I think he is. When he pitched against South Williamsport the second time, he threw 9 innings, a 5-hit ball against them with 7 strikeouts. I think he showed right then that he's capable, especially at the Class A level, of going out there against anybody they would face in states and shutting them down. South is an outstanding team, an outstanding hitting team, and you stifle a team that, in South Williamsport's case, is in the AA state tournament. He definitely has a shot. That's if they can find a way to win tomorrow against Pius X, I would like their chances moving forward, because they could go to him in the quarterfinals, and then you're going from Thursday to Monday. All of a sudden, they could ride him the rest of the way. He could start the final 3 games if it came to that in the state tournament, and I think he's capable of doing that.
And a rain out here or there could really change things. We saw Doug Zahner last year for months. He pitched all 3 state playoff games for the Indians a year ago. Chris, a team we didn't really talk about much before districts because they only played 1 district game is Jersey Shore. They win that 1 game against Milton. They move on to the state playoffs now. Last year in the first round, they played eventual state finalist Tunkhannock. They're going to get another tough one here with North Pocono, but this is a pretty well-rested Jersey Shore team. Are things set up pretty well for them, except for that tough first-round opponent now?
Yeah, from their perspective, you can't ask for anything more. You've got a Telephone coming off a shutout against Milton, who had been soaring into that district final. He's rested up. The whole team is rested up, and I think they've got everything you need. They've got the pitching. Not only Notovar, Travis Eisworth and Caleb Barnhart have been outstanding. They played great defense against Milton, and they're really deep. It's a cliche, but in their case, it's true. Anybody they put out there is capable of getting the job done. They've had guys like Eric Hewling, who doesn't play much. He's a reserve, and he's given them 2 walk-off hits this year. And Boone Costa, a freshman, they put him in left field the other night. Makes a great throw to get Renato Adams out to start the 6th inning. And it's just a really deep team, one of the deepest overall teams I've seen in this area in a long time. So, like you said, they've got a whale of opponent in North Pocono, but they've got what it takes to make a run if they play their game.
And depth is a big thing for everybody once you get to these PIAA playoffs. Jersey Shore has that. So like we keep saying, if they can get through that first round game with North Pocono, we saw Tunkhannock last year, tough first round game for Jersey Shore. Tunkhannock ends up in the state finals. So it's capable. All you got to do is win that first game. Things kind of open up for you. Loyalsock is a team we've talked about all year now. We talk about how young this team is. I found it interesting after their district win over Hughesville. Jeremy Eck said to me that he thought they were still a year away from being this district title contender kind of team, PIAA contender kind of team, but he realized about halfway through the season the future is now for Loyalsock, and we saw it. They won that tough AA field. They held that #1 seed, win the district title. Is this team capable right now of making a run even with as young as they are?
Absolutely. Like Jersey Shore, they've got everything you need. And the big thing with them is they've got two pitchers that look pretty dominant right now. You got Kyle Datchers, who's 9-0 and threw 2 1-hitters in districts, and you got Zach Clark, who's really blossomed as this year has gone on. Pitched a great game against South in the backyard brawl, and then he follows it up with a masterful complete game yesterday against South in the district final. You got two pitchers, you can go a long way. Loyalsock proved that in 08 they had 3 pitchers, but Colin Kelly and Alex Sillo were the horses. They rode those two for the most way, and they won a state title. So they've got what it takes. They're freshmen, but they've played in so many big games at the other levels in the Babe Ruth World Series and stuff. And they just have that mentality that it just seems like nothing phases them. It seems like they don't go out there hoping to win. They expect to win. I think they expect this from themselves. I think maybe other people are surprised, but I don't think they are. And they've got a shot. They've got a really tough opponent in Phillipsburg, Osceola in the first round. But if they get past that, they've definitely got a shot to make a run.
The big concern for Loyalsock has been their defense, especially on the infield. They seem to shore some things up when they moved Luke Glavin to third base. He's another freshman who's done a stellar job. He made 5 really, really good plays against Hughesville in the district playoffs. That infield defense seems to have been shorn up a little bit. Does this look like a more confident bunch when it comes to their defense here recently?
It seems that way. They against Central Columbia and South yesterday, they played really good defense, made all the plays they had to, and I think it seems like everything's coming together at the right time. I think Jeremy Eck had talked about as the season was going on, they never could seem to put everything together. They had pieces, and now it seems like everything's coming together, and this is the time to do it. And then the bonus for them, you never know if you're going to get back to states, but this is a team that's built for the future as well as now. And whatever happens tomorrow, they're getting this experience. These young kids have won a district championship. They've been through that. They were in a barn burner with South in the district final. Now they're going to get state playoff experience and see state caliber teams. So it's not only do they have a chance to do something this year, but it can't do anything but help them in the next few years.
We're standing down here at South Williamsport Community Park. Just beyond the fence here is South Williamsport's home baseball field. And Sean Finn has had to deal with the question all year, is your schedule going to come back to bite you? Are you going to be okay when you face tough competition in the District 4 tournament? They answered that question resoundingly. They beat maybe the district's best pitcher, Andrew Andrachek, battled him tooth and nail, ended up winning a game in 10 innings in the semifinals. They played a really nice game yesterday against Loyalsock. Probably missed some opportunities where they could have won that game. Is this team maybe a little better than we thought they were against this tough competition?
I think so. I mean, they made an impressive statement right off the bat in districts against Montoursville when they beat them 4-1 and beat Christian Clark, one of the district's best pitchers. And what impresses me more is they can beat you in more ways than I think people thought they could. They battered a lot of teams early in the season, throughout the season, won a lot of 10-run games, and you saw it against Danville and Montoursville. Some brilliant small ball, some brilliant execution on hit and runs. It's a team that knows how to manufacture runs. They can win in different ways, and I think they have shown. Like you said, I thought yesterday's game was there for the taking. They get one timely hit in the 5th or 7th inning. They're probably district champions right now. So I think they've put to bed all those questions about their schedule and how legitimate they are. They're an outstanding team. Jeremy, I called them the most complete team they've seen all year. And they're a team, they've got a shot too. they're neck and neck with Loyalsock. Those two, it's pretty much flip a coin between those two. So if Loyalsock has a shot to make a run, South does too. And, I wouldn't put anything past this team. The thing that it's a different sport, but I remember in '03 the softball team here in South lost the district final, 1-0 to Kawaneski Valley. They came back and won the state title. So anything's possible. They have the players to pull it off.
It's a fun team to watch, that's for sure. Maybe the players aren't quite what the numbers say, but they're still a really good baseball team. They're one hit away from beating Loyalsock yesterday in the backyard brawl. They're probably one timely hit away from beating Loyalsock in that game. So this is a very dangerous team we're talking about here, and they're going to have Alex Carpenter ready to go tomorrow in that first game, and that's going to be a big thing for them to have. He pitched pretty well against Danville. Didn't have his location, and that's usually his bread and butter. That's going to be big for him tomorrow. If he can locate, they got a real good shot.
Definitely. He pitched as good a game as I've seen all year against Montoursville, throwing a complete game, 77 pitches. It was brilliant. Gave up 2 hits, only one of them left the infield, and gutted it out against Danville. When he pitched against Sock in the brawl, I think it was kind of similar to the Danville game. Maybe he didn't have his best stuff, but he was tough under pressure. He got out of a lot of jams, and he's a guy that's excelled in a lot of big games throughout his career. So they definitely have who they want on the mound, and they also have all their other pitchers eligible. That was the one nice thing about yesterday for him, is that Brandon Gantz only threw 3 innings. Caleb Catherine only went 3. So those two are still eligible to pitch tomorrow. Cal Missigman, who pitched great against Danville, he's eligible. So even though they had to play Saturday and have to make this quick turnaround, they can't ask for much more in terms of how they're set up to move forward in this state tournament.
And the fact that we had to play 2 district title games yesterday might mean a little extra momentum for Montgomery. They're only going to have less than 48 hours to get ready for that state playoff game. Same for Loyalsock, and I think South Williamsport is even more motivated because they didn't win that District 4 title game. That's going to do it for us here from the South Williamsport Community Park. From the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, I'm Mitch Rupert, standing alongside the Dr. Chris Masse. Follow all of the Sun-Gazette sports writers on Twitter. We'll be out and about tomorrow. You can follow for live updates, except for Jake Felix because he hasn't learned how to work his cell phone yet. So from Williamsport Sun-Gazette, we will talk to you later. Have a good one.